Okay, we should be good there. Hello, this is Jamie Ellis. I'm going to be doing my first Strixhaven School of Mages draft here on MTG Arena. I have seen some decks people have drafted. I have contributed some input while watching somebody draft, but this is the first one that's all me. So this is going to be a lot of first impressions, a lot of general kind of broad strokes, things that I'm going to assume to be true about the format. Not all of it will be substantiated. I have a general idea of pretty much what the different colleges want to do. I know that Silver Quill is kind of an aggro +1 counter thing. I know that Witherbloom is pests and sacrificing and things dying and a life gain sub theme. But I don't really know what's good and what isn't yet, other than that lessons and learn are pretty important and that you want to do that if you can. So definitely going to be looking out for that. Okay, so let's just hit up our rare and our mystical archive card here. Divine Gambit, a pretty recent one from Kaldheim. Definitely remember it being playable, but not something you're going to prioritize first pick. There's a big potential to go wrong if you let somebody put out a giant, thick permanent. Like, you can't just jam this on turn 3 or 4. You kind of have to wait until somebody's pretty much out of resources. So we're not taking Divine Gambit. Our rare, however, seems pretty good. Archmage Emeritus. Whenever you cast or copy an instant or sorcery, draw a card. That is potent. Got some really good gold cards here, too. Iteration seems like pretty good at every stage of the game. Just a really solid draw card selection spell. Quandrix Cultivator. Like, this card really speaks my language. I love a little 2-for-1. I love a thick body that can ramp. That's just pretty nice. Our lesson is Expanded Anatomy, which is fine, but not something I'm going to go out of my way for early. I feel like I just want to take the rare here. Like, this seems like a decently powerful Magecraft trigger, and it's this is definitely the kind of card that my friends would be like, yeah, that's a Jamie card. So I think I take this, and I'm going to do my best to try to end up playing it. Okay, what now? So now we have the rare Strixhaven Stadium. This one I'm a little less high on than Archmage Emeritus. I feel like this is going to be kind of hard to make work. You could probably do it. Like, maybe it's easier than it seems, it's given that you're getting point counters every time you tap it for mana. But this is a card that I'm gonna have to be convinced on before I go taking it. We got some good Magecraft uncommons here, some apprentices with perfectly reasonable abilities. Not gonna take those when I just took a blue card. And not over Frost Trickster, I don't think, which is maybe it's probably the best blue common, and it might even excuse me, it might even be like one of the best commons in the set. So I think I want to take this over any of this uncommon stuff. I mean, this is all pretty good. You got like a mana dork that fetches a land out of your deck, 2 good Magecraft triggers, hunt for specimens. Like, this is all very playable. I think I just want Trickster, though, when I start out with a rare that's that good, and the game agrees with me, it seems. Okay, well, that is some kind of a signal. I mean, third pick is a little early to be saying I'm getting signals, but Quandrix Command seems like a very powerful card here. What else is there? Detention Vortex is atrocious, I think. You can't be playing removal that they get to just knock off for free, and it's not even like that expensive to shake off. If it was like 4 or 5, I could maybe see it, but 3 is just nothing doing. Got Dinah, who steeps the souls, apparently, for Witherbloom. I don't know why I right-clicked her. She has the sack ability, so that's pretty cool. Got Pupil, who's, I think, reasonable. Another Fractal Summoning. We're probably going to end up wanting some learns and lessons. I just don't think this is one that I am going to jam like third pick, even though I'm pretty sure I'm going to be blue. Subtraction, I think I like this card more than a lot of people do. I think it's going to be pretty reasonable. I feel like it's just Quandrix Command here. I mean, it just seems like a really good rare, and I think I'm down to take it and assume we can make it good. Well then, I mean, Crackle with Power, that there is a win con. That, like, you dump... So, okay, so this reminds me of the card Fight with Fire from Dominaria. I think it's a tiny bit worse than Fight with Fire because the A mode on Fight with Fire was so cheap and efficient. It was just 3 mana kill something, and then late in the game you would get it back, and then you'd use that to wipe their board or just kill them. This doesn't have as much of a great A mode. Like, you are spending at least 5 mana on it, which is a lot less efficient than 3. Like, 3 mana to kill something that has 5 toughness is great. 5 mana to do it is just kind of okay. But the ceiling on this one is just really off the charts. Like, you can Once you're putting 8 mana into it, you're killing any creature and doming them for 10. And, you know, if you can, God forbid, do it for 11, you're probably just going to win. So I think that means it's Crackle with Power here. And I guess that means we're trying to do something like this here. I don't know exactly if we're going to be... well, that might answer what exactly we're trying to do, because that seems like a pretty late expressive iteration. Just looking at the top 3, it's like telling time on roids, man. It's just so good. Impulse is acceptable, but not something I'm hunting for. Same for this one. I feel like I'm really cold on this lesson. Like, it's obviously fine to have one if you like really need it for insurance, but I think if you find yourself having to go get this out of your sideboard, you're not in a good spot. Like, you have to be in a really bad spot to want to play this card, which will happen sometimes. So it's fine to do that. Just don't want to. All right, so Rise. So many reasonable cards in the set. So I think I'm going to take Iteration, because we've seen like pretty good reason to think that Prismari is going to be open for us. So I'm going to do that. All right. Well, now the green starts really coming through. I don't know what is happening here. It's just a lot of people hopping around from color to color, and there's a lot of things available. Whirlwind Denial, not really going to be... I mean, this kind of goes off against the copy themselves spells. It like is a nice little hoser there, but I don't think that's a reason to want a 3-mana counterspell in and of itself. This is a reasonable lesson. I don't hate this. We're pretty far away from playing an Owlin Shield Mage or like a Guiding Voice. Mortality Spear. Like, these cards are making me want to be Prismari, which maybe says that I should take a Pop Quiz. It just feels like Pop Quiz is a lot worse than these two. Like, that's a really good lesson. All right, I'm going to take Pop Quiz. That might be... Okay, well, Maelstrom Muse, I'm pretty confident is great. Like, holy mackerel, that with Crackle with Power. Oof. That's right. That right there is a combo. So I think, yeah, it feels like a pretty easy Maelstrom Muse here, and we're officially kind of on the Prismari spells train, which seems like a nice place to be. Fused with it, yeah. There's really nothing that competes with it at all when we have such... Like, we already have a pretty good array of things that make us want to be doing some kind of Prismari nonsense. Ooh, nice little sound effect there. All right, so now, if we're, like, reasonably locked into Prismari, maybe with a chance to splash Quandrix Command, which I think this is, like, a decent splash. You can, like, bounce and put 2 counters on something isn't bad. It's not as sick as, like, Lorehold Command, which is just a flat-out bomb, I think. Like, I don't think this is a bomb, but I think it's good enough to splash as long as we don't have to go too far out of our way. There's another Whirlwind Denial. I still don't think I want that. Here, I'm actually thinking about the Fractal Summoning because we already have a thing that learns. So, yeah, I think that means Fractal Summoning is going to be acceptable to pick up. Okay, well, this is a great sign. Wheeling a Prismari Pledge Mage, that's going to be exactly what we need to protect ourselves while we set up this kind of spell nonsense with all this. So we're not going to do Gambit. We're not going to... Just making sure we're not missing anything. We're absolutely not. So Pledge Mage seems perfectly good. All right, I think the Witherbloom train has kind of left the station. This is a lot of good, like, black kind of sacky stuff. I really like Unwilling Ingredient. This is kind of the 1-2 punch with the Bayou Dog, the 5-4 for 2. I mean, that feels like it's going to beat a lot of people before the format has kind of settled out. I think I'm just going to take a Campus here. We might end up, like, with some random excellent Lorehold card that we really want to splash. Who knows? All right, this is a bunch more Witherbloom stuff that we're not going to end up wanting. Just pass a nice signal and hopefully get some Prismari in return. We could play Access Tunnel. I guess that's not impossible. Oh, well, that is... not everybody can use this, but if you can use this, then this card is just bonkers, right? Like, if you're getting, like, a 3-for-1 off of this, then holy mackerel. Yeah, I'm going to take Reconstruct History. I'm not going to say we definitely play it. Like, we maybe don't even, like, lean toward it very hard right now, but, I mean, getting this back, that seems pretty good. All right, pretty easy teach by example here, I think. What? Nobody wants either of these excellent Witherbloom cards? I don't know what's going on. Okay, well... Maybe nobody's Witherbloom in this whole pod. Who knows? Crazier things have happened. Oh, okay, so we get ourselves a nice double-sided rare that fits pretty comfortably into the theme we're going for. Even the front side Uvilda, who I think is worse than Nasari, it ends up being much, much stronger when you have something as powerful as, well, a Crackle with power. Yeah, you get to just exile an instant or sorcery with 3 home counters on it. It kind of gives it like fake suspend, where you get to cast it for much cheaper after all the counters are off. But then Nasari, I think, is the better half. It's beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. You can cast them until end of turn with mana of any color. Yeah, that's just stealing stuff off the top of their deck. Spectacle Mage is good, but I think it's much more replaceable than Uvilda / Nasari here. Just seems like one of the best things we probably could have opened. Feels like a really, really good card. Very nice, very nice. Okay, we're not going to prioritize a Teach by Example here. We already have one, and I think that's a card that might end up being easy to play too many of. Blood Age General is more kind of a lore hold thing. How many creatures have we got? 5, and the Fractal Summoning that we can learn for, so almost like 6 a little bit. Not quite, but, you know, you got to count everything. Make sure you got enough creatures. Yeah, a ton of lore hold in this pack. Man, got the Rip Apart, which is just really efficient, kind of all-purpose, deal with anything. There's not a ton of artifact and enchantments to kill in this set because a lot of the non-creature action is kind of eaten up by the learn and lesson cards, but it's still something to be aware of that it can do that. So there's not a ton for us. I guess like a Soothsayer Adept is probably better than a Blood Age General. I don't know how many spirits we're going to end up with. It could be that it's Spirit Summoning. I think I'm going to take Soothsayer Adept. You're really not excited to take that pick 2 of a, like, that's not at all where you want to be, but I don't know. I think we're locked in enough on these awesome Prismari cards that it feels good enough to take things that we know can be played in a pinch. Prismari Apprentice is looking pretty good. This spell has mana value 5 or greater, put a counter on it. So we don't have many things that trigger it yet, but we already have maybe the best thing that could trigger it, or, you know, certainly up there. This was probably not as good as Magma Opus. I guess that would be the actual best case, but this is a good one. We can maybe wheel at Campus if we're lucky. I mean, some of the Witherbloom stuff is probably going to come back, given that we saw Mortality Spear and the life gain wall in the last 2 picks. Biomathematician, that's a really nice common. Revitalize, yeah. So I'm going to take the Apprentice. Just hopefully we see a couple more of the like powerful, expensive Prismari things. So, all right, Sudden Breakthrough makes a treasure and gives first strike. I think I could play this, but I'm really not enticed to take it here. Not over Burying Books, which I think is an actual very good card. Like, this is the kind of effect where 5 mana is like just about playable for it. Putting something in second from the top is sometimes an advantage, and sometimes it's actually a disadvantage because, like, they draw it less quickly, but sometimes you're more interested in keeping them off of outs rather than taking them off of whatever you put into their library forever. So sometimes it's better than a totally lost, sometimes it's worse. But being cheaper to target an attacker really, I think, kind of does it there and makes it unquestionably better. So definitely going to take that. Crackle with Power, not going to be a 5-drop in a perfect world. Okay, so it feels like we are maybe fighting on the way back here. We're not seeing nearly as much as we saw in Pack 1, which is okay. That's not, that's going to happen. Killian is just an incredible aggressive threat, like dump counters on him. Oh boy. Biblioplex Assistant, put stuff back on top. I mean, I wouldn't say no to this if I could get one later. I'm not about to take it here. Tome Shredder could be a thing. This is also, like, not bad. This is a first striker, but it costs double red, and we're pretty blue heavy right now. So I think it's going to be Tome Shredder. I'd like that actually kind of seems like an effect we'd be interested in, just being able to eat things out of our yard. Ooh, now we get to really have our pick. So there's an Elemental Summoning, which is almost certainly going to be a better thing for us to learn for than the Fractal Summoning. There's also another Pledge Mage, which would help protect us. So we're at 8 and 7. We only have, I think, one way to learn so far. I feel like we should end up with a couple more. That seems like what we're kind of hoping for. I think I'm going to take the Elemental Summoning and stick it in the board for now as a probable learn target. Okay, well, talking of things that would make me want to splash the Quandrix cards, this is really good. Just counter, like, it's often a negate, and then you just have it's 2 situational but not really cards that are together just excellent, and almost always will find some kind of use. So I'm excited to take that, I think. I don't like Claim. I don't much feel good about Test of Talents. Yeah, I think this is going to be the better one. We are going to have to look for mana fixing, or we're not really going to get to use Quandrix Command or Decisive Denial. But I think we can make that happen. So Serpentine Curve, is that looking good enough to take over like an Environmental Sciences that would go in the board? We only have one thing that learns so far. So that's less of a reason to take Sciences. But if we do end up wanting to splash some of these Quandrix cards, some of this green, the Sciences could end up being important. I think I actually, for that reason, am going to take Environmental Sciences. That might be... Oh, speaking of splashing, we could be doing this bookworm business, trying to really get there. I mean, bookworm is pretty mighty. Like, this is just, if you're getting to 8 mana, this is kind of the reason to do. I mean, we have a reason to get to 8 mana already. Can't take Mortality Speed. Man, this is tricky. All right, so I'm positive that I'm letting the splash. Man, you got a roar there. I'm positive I'm letting the idea of splashing kind of run away with me here. Like, I maybe just shouldn't have any green cards anywhere, but I don't know, man. Bookworm, look at him. He does it all. Look at that. We got some white. Nothing too exciting here. I guess it's like take a rip apart and stuff it in the board. Okay. Not going to play a Relic Sloth. Could play a Curate, but I'd rather have like an acceptable learn card over this, so I wouldn't be excited to stick it in my deck. I guess I will take it. All right, so we need a little more power in pack 3 to really feel like we're getting there, I think. Squad, no. Yeah, this is a nice common, though. I mean, there's maybe a chance we end up wanting a wall. I wouldn't give it an auto no. These cards are all kind of medium. Take an uncommon for Yield Collection. This feels like a harder card to replace than Karok. Definitely not playing any Dragon's Approaches, so we will just... Oh boy, man, just cool rares and mythics all over the place in this set. Obviously can't play this, but I'm going to 2/4 double strike with that sweet Magecraft trigger, and then it has that backside as well. A lot going on there. All right, so Vortex Runner, we could get to a place where Vortex Runner does things. I mean, theoretically, we're trying to play like a Bookworm and Crackle with power, so I wouldn't give it the auto no, but I think it's probably going to be better to kick it off with a Campus here. There's nothing in this pack that we can reasonably take that would learn for us. Was I supposed to be like green-blue in this draft, maybe? Was I supposed to be Quandrix? I don't know. Yeah, okay, I'm going to take a Prismari Campus. Might be right, might not. So this is a thing that I'm not terribly excited to splash. I'm not going to go out of my way for Kasmina, I don't think. I just feel like she is a little on the disappointing side. Feels like more often than not, she'll kind of come up short on the actual impact she's able to have over the game. We do have a Defiant Strike. That's pretty medium. This is not... we can actually read Kasmina if you want. It's Scry 1 for the big plus. She kind of gets in the way, but she's far from like the threatening planeswalker that you want her to be. She's not going to like bowl somebody over. Let's see, we could take Eureka Moment and just accept that we're like a dedicated splashy deck. We could take another Elemental Summoning. I guess I'll take an Elemental Summoning. That was kind of a rushed pick there. I maybe could have spent a little more time thinking about that one. All right, now we've got Grinning Ignis is... it's cute. It would be good with Crackle with power. I think I'm going to take just another Frost Trickster. That feels like the way to go. We're not a very aggressive deck, so we're losing that little bit of value on the Trickster, but it's still just, like, so good. Just gets it done, man. Okay, so we could take a Spectacle Mage, we could take a Pigment Storm. Pigment Storm would be another big spell. It's another way to use the things we have that build up to it, like Maelstrom Muse. Don't really think I need Intro to Prophecy or a Wall or a Trap. Mage would be fine, but is it better than a Pigment Storm? I don't actually know. This gets us up to the Crackle with power pretty easily. Go down. Just a bunch of summonings. We only have the one way to learn. It's the pop quiz. I think I'm going to take a Pigment Storm here. I feel like we need a little more kind of sauce to kill things and to make powerful things happen. Ooh, speaking of powerful things, get this practical research directly into my bloodstream. That seems like what we want to do. Team Pennant is fine. This card is pretty good. This card's quite good. Yeah, I'm just going to practical research, though. Get her done. Oh, Rutha! Rutha! Copied some of this nonsense. That seems very good. Okay, so now we're getting rewarded for our Prismaria dedication. We ended up a little short last pack, but now I think we're getting really paid off for our brilliant deductions that maybe it was open. Okay, a little more decision making now. There's a letter of acceptance that we would want to take if we were really serious about this Quandrix stuff. Do we still have to try to do the Quandrix thing? I'm not sure. Pledge Mage would be really solid. Just another way to protect us. We have 10 non-creature spells. This would take us down to 8 if we cut the green. I think it's another Pledge Mage. That feels like the thing that is the most reasonable there. Ooh, I kind of like an Arcane Subtraction the way this deck is shaping up. It's pretty good to block something with a Pledge Mage and then shrink it and then just go get kind of a creature that we could just play as sort of a kicker at any time. This is fixing for the green stuff. I'm not positive we have to do the green though. I think I'm going to take an Arcane Subtraction. That feels like most likely to end up rewarding us. Vortex Runner, totally solid. We're not, I think, not super likely to get up to that amount of mana, but it could happen. All right, not going to play 2 Teach by Example, I don't think. I might not even be playing 1. Because we don't have many excellent things to copy with it, and 2 extra mana is pretty real. I guess I'll just take an uncommon, stick it in the board, get some collection progress. Easy, breezy, beautiful. Alright, just a Blood Age General over basically nothing. Not too excited to play that. Maybe now I do take an Introduction to Prophecy, though. Alright, am I doing that over... As long as I have this in the board, I really... Yeah, I guess I'll take an Introduction to Prophecy. Stick that in the sideboard. That seems fine. I don't think I need a first day of class. I'm not sideboarding, so I'm definitely not excited for that. Not going to play it. But I will throw it over here. Okay, and the green. Okay, so we're still kind of figuring out how to deduce like what's open in these Strixhaven drafts, clearly. Like, the Witherbloom in Pack 1 was just unbelievably present. There was so much. Okay, well, we're going to need a couple more playables in here. So maybe the green does maybe the green thing does happen. I don't know. Definitely have a few things that aren't super exciting. If I main deck Environmental Sciences, that's not my favorite. Like, as it is, we can... yeah, I really don't want to play Curate, but ugh. Curate feels not super good. Alright, so we definitely ended up a little short on the playable count here, which is making me wonder if the green thing is correct to try to do. So if I played Environmental Sciences, I am less likely to want to learn for it. I mean, I can't learn for it if I do that, because as it is currently Pop Quiz, Arcane Subtraction are the things I have that can learn for it. Pretty excited about this Emeritus. I think we have enough spells that this can reasonably go off. Yeah, okay, so I think I've got to play the Environmental Sciences in order to make... No, God, that can't be good, can it? Do I want a Reconstruct History? Don't laugh at me, guys. I get good at formats later. I start really bad at them, and then I figure out what to do, and then I start cracking away. That's kind of the system. I don't generally start terribly good at them. Okay, so well, we have the big stuff to do. We have like practical research that can let us like filter away excess lands. We have Crackle with Power, which is obviously a pretty nice way to win a game. We have maybe we play one Elemental Summoning in the deck, and then we have the other one to learn for in a pinch. Maybe. Man, you really don't want to play too many of these lessons in your deck, that's for sure. And we're going to end up doing that with a couple of them. So probably Access Tunnel not happening if we end up having to do the green thing, and it feels like we do. Yeah, that's not ideal. But as long as we're doing that, I kind of like the Bookworm. Yeah, I probably just kind of shoved the green in when I shouldn't have. That's alright. That's okay. There are worse things than an unnecessary splash. I've done a lot of unnecessary splashing in my time. Don't try this at home. I'm an expert at the unnecessary splash. Alright, so how many is it now? 13 creatures, 11 non-creatures. We probably want the 17th land if we're trying to get up to, like, Bookworm and this kind of nonsense. We got Iteration. I think we have enough things to learn for that I'm okay taking a reasonable target out of our board and just putting it in here. Like, these are fine. We can do a summoning. We can go get an Intro to Prophecy, fractal summoning if we are, like, really in the late game. 4 forests is going to be a little bit of a pain because they kind of keep us from playing the pledge mages easily. So I don't love that. Might mean we have to go down to 3 forests to go with our environmental sciences, and then that will hopefully be the trick. All right, things we're definitely not playing. We don't want test. We don't want familiar. Curate feels not the most necessary. I don't think we need that. Creature count is... Oh shit, what did I take out? Subtraction. All right, so 13, 11. Don't want to lose too many more creatures. Currently just trying to figure out what our worst spell is, basically. The worst spell that we could cut. It might be the Soothsayer Adept, to be honest. I feel like our mana is going to be fairly well spoken for between the learns and all the other things we're doing. It could also just be Teach by Example. This card might just not be very good. What are the sick things it can copy? Like, if we copy a pop quiz, that's kind of cool. That's drawing 2, learning twice. That's some excess cards we get. We don't really want to do it with Crackle with Power. Yeah, you know, Teach by Example, now that I look at it, it just kind of seems not very good. So I think that we can take that out pretty easily. All right, so if I add another blue, that feels like it makes... Yeah, that makes sense. I'm going to add another blue here. That appears to be what... Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Very, very easily add another blue. Maybe even should go down an additional red, but I don't think I'm going to do that. Okay, so we got this little blue-red. We got the Prismari splashing a little bit of Quandrix and green action, which I don't think is the way you normally want to do it, but that is the way my powerful cards leaned in this draft, and I didn't shy away from it. So I guess that's what we're doing. I mean, are we even supposed to be playing Decisive Denial? I don't know. We don't have that many big creatures. Rutha and, like, doesn't grow anything. Still, like, a fight. Is a fight worth it? It might be worse than... If we cut this, we can go down a forest, actually. And then we can go up, like, another island, which seems decent. We're not trying to play many of these red things crazy early. So we get to do that, and then we get to play something different instead. And maybe that's where we get in there with different spell. Maybe that's where Teach by Example happens. Teach by Example still doesn't seem excellent. And we're not about to play this in the deck on 3. I think that's a little crummy. It could just be an elemental summoning. We accept that it's kind of not great. Could also be a Curate. Yeah, just making a 4/4 for 5 doesn't really feel very good. I think I'm gonna take the Curate, and that might be worse than just another way to make a creature, but I think that's where I'm gonna end up. Feel free to critique in the comments how I misdrafted or misbuilt this, because I'm sure in 2 weeks I'm gonna be like, oh my god, what was I thinking? That was atrociously bad. But that's just kind of how I do it in the first draft. You gotta be okay kind of messing up and not doing it great. All right, immediately punished by this green splash because we can't play Prismari Apprentice. Still think I'm going to keep it even though I'm on the play because we have some decently powerful stuff to spit out. Got a new Vilda, who, you know, not excellent, but oh, look at that. You gotta believe. You gotta believe you can get there in order to get there. All right, they're taking the time to read it. And we know we have a couple of good ways to trigger this. Make it unblockable and get it through with counters on it. This is one of the things that would have fought decently well with the green-blue uncommon that we took out. All right, so what are they going to do? Play their Swamp. Okay, we got a Maelstrom Muse. That'll be pretty potent. Alright, so we play this. Do we want to just jam out a Uvilda? I don't think we need to do that. I think I'm okay just attacking with Apprentice. Not gonna bury in books my own creature, obviously. That would be pretty bad. So between these two, which would I rather live and get the effect? I think, well, with what my hand currently is, I have to assume that Emeritus would be better. Just because this is like value over time, and this is going to be like probably one big burst of value, but this attacks better. Yeah, so I think it makes sense to lead with Maelstrom Muse, because that's currently the one I would be more okay with getting dealt with. I think that's what I'm going to do. Alright, so they do a cram session and go and find a pest summoning. I don't think I care a whole lot about that. Alright, easy Maelstrom Muse here, I think. Just going to do that. They are thinking. We're going to attack with Prismari Apprentice. Pass the turn along. Alright, we got our stuff here. We're developing. Needing the second red for this is maybe a reason to just... like, I know we should have abandoned the green, but that ship has sailed, so... Alright, now we got Rutha. So now it's a question of, do we want to Trickster for some tempo, or do we want to just play down either a Rutha or an Archmage Emeritus? I think the ground is going to be decently clogged pretty soon, so that's maybe a reason to just get Trickster rolling. Yeah, I think I'm going to Trickster actually through the Professor, just get an attack here while I can. That makes my next thing cost less to cast, but that doesn't really matter yet. It's a little loud. My ears, I'm going to bring it down. Just, no, that's not what that is. Okay. So now they're on 5. Professor of Zoomancy still tapped. They have 1 pest. They might go for the second pest. They might kill something with like the +2/-2 instant. Seems like a good one. Lash of Malice, I think it's called. Righty. What do you got, opponent? What's the plan? What's the play? I like that I could like attack with Maelstrom Muse, and then before blocks I could bury and book something, and it would be cheaper, and then that would still like push this through. It'd be pretty nice. All right, Mage Duel there makes sense. That's a good one to have. It's I think you could have pest summoning and then you could have Mage Dueled, right? That would have made everything cheaper. Yeah, I don't know that that was necessarily the way to do that. All right, so now I think it's just be mana efficient, play the Archmage. If they... Oh, well, maybe they had some way to answer it, and that's why they didn't. I probably should have just attacked first, and then if they do have Lash of Malice, they wouldn't have had a good way to deal with it. This might just be like a sacrifice on the pest. Yeah, okay. Alright, so they wanted Village Rites up in particular. They still, I think, could have done that if they pest summoned and then did a cheap Mage Duel. So we'll see if that mana gaff kind of ends up hurting them, I guess. Hopefully it will. Mage Duel's really good. Being able to have that kind of epic punch effect for just 1 mana. Okay, Mage Hunter's Onslaught deals with our bomb. We have more bombs though. We came prepared. We have more bombs than just that. Overgrown Arch, that's decent. Okay. Alright, so we're beginning to wish we had more mana. It's officially starting to hurt. I think we play Rutha here. Just come in with Trickster. Drawing lots of creatures, not a ton of playable instants and sorceries, which is fine. Creatures are important too. Arch feels really good. Being able to just learn off of that seems very nice. Okay, so hopefully we get to bury in books this Professor of Zoomancy at some point. If we do that, they eventually redraw it and play another pest, which is, you know, of moderate inconvenience. But we are going to have to keep the attacks off our backs somehow. Well, this is awkward because now we can campus and play Pledge Mage, but then we can't bury. So that's just going to have to be the way that is. Alright, so we're going to come in with Trickster, keep that train rolling. Going to have to take another hit. Pledge Mage could just block the Professor. Oh, that gets bigger. Yeah, that's going to be a little bit of a scary combo. So now that's probably the new bury in books target. Bookworm looking entirely unreasonable in this hand. Might have been the least well-advised splash possible. So if we just went down to like one forest and the Quandrix command, maybe that's the place to be. Just cut the Bookworm and put in something a little more playable. I just want this card to be awesome, even when it's clearly not awesome in my deck. I think that's my fault. I'm gonna block there, nowhere else. If they want to gain the life and get another damage in, as I assume they will, that sounds fine. Getting to do a double bury in books could be kind of awesome. If they play another decent attacker here. I do want to get this thing rolling, though. Beginning of your upkeep, exile the top card of each opponent's library. Yeah, you can just cast spells from among them. That seems great. I don't know why not Overgrown Arch there. That seems like a thing to do. That's okay. Alright, Cogwork Archivist. Okay, so I do think we're going to be best served doing the double bury in books play. I think that's going to take a lot of wind out of their sails. So that has reach. Okay. Yeah, so I think what I need to do is nothing right now. Just try to dump some cards back into their deck. Hopefully do damage that way. And then that'll be Prismari Apprentice ticked up a little bit, hopefully enough to do something good. That'll be 2 triggers on this thing, and then, yeah. Alright, so we're going to see what they do. Alright, pass 2 blockers. I mean, there's no real reason to block anything, because this just kind of has to work. Maybe they'll go for a pump spell and we can feel very cool. Right, we get to copy this thing and target Cogwork Archivist. Alright, the double bury in books. So that should mean that means they're going to redraw Blood Researcher first, which maybe means I should have done it the other way. Not positive one way or the other. Because they get to start immediately putting counters back on. Now, do they learn? That's the question. Nope. They're going to play a giant 8/8. Well, I do get to freeze it, so that's not bad. So if we played Uvilda, they'd have the 8/8. We could just kind of have to do something about that. I think I need to start getting value off the top of their deck. I think the backside here is going to be good for that, because we know that we're about to hit action off the top for them. So that's pretty good. I think Frost Trickster might just have to sit back and be a sacrificial lamb until we have time to play this other Trickster. Prismari Apprentice obviously not able to do work yet. Yeah, I think we gotta sit. I think we need to just chump with the Frost Trickster. Right now, are they gaining life? Are they learning? What is Arch doing? So we can see in this game the kind of stuff the Arch has enabled for them. So they get to learn, get to get whatever that is they're going to get. Okay, they're doing Introduction to Annihilation because they want to deal with Nasari. They're feeling like that card will probably mess them up, and I think that's, you know, it seems correct to do that. The 8/8 is definitely worth a lot, so I think you gotta do your best to deal with that. We are going to freeze it, though. That's going to be good for us. And it appears they don't have much else going on. So that's not too bad for us. All right, I think we definitely are coming in with Prismari Apprentice, and then I think we're just playing like Trickster plus Vortex Runner. It seems like the way to go. All right, I think we're maybe able to do it this game. The 8/8's going to be an issue. I really wish I could bury that in books, but I no longer have the chance at that. Vortex Runner is going to be a hard-to-stop threat. Eventually, we can Frost Trickster, the 8/8. That'll hold that down for a little while. Not forever, but for a little while. Ideally, we can draw like Pop Quiz here. I feel like that would be an amazing draw because it lets us get in unblockable with that. We have Rutha to potentially chump the 8/8. We just want all of the evasive stuff that we can manage here, because that's the kind of stuff that's going to win us this game. Oh my gosh, we drew it. Okay, well, we drew exactly the card I was hoping for, which is pretty nice for us. So we can pop quiz, trigger that, makes it unblockable. We get to get a elemental summoning we can't do, introduction to prophecy we could do. I almost feel like I just want like another dinky creature off of the fractal summoning, like something I can play this turn. Is that a good impulse? I think that... Well, there's no reason to do that. I could just also play Tome Shredder and have that be fine. So I feel like it's probably elemental summoning, just be able to keep making kind of dinguses here. All right, I'm going to play the Tome Shredder. All right, so we're able to get in with Apprentice and Frost Trickster, which is pretty real. I mean, the life gain for them, they can't do it on demand. They have to have a way to like actively sacrifice their pests in order to make that work. All right, so now they're at 4. Cogwork Archivist is not enough on its own to get me, because I can still make this unblockable with elemental summoning. So they need like a way to... They need to deal with my Apprentice, I'm pretty sure. We've put them officially into, I think, a tough spot. Because we have multiple ways to chump their 8/8, so one removal spell doesn't push through and kill us. Playing Archivist on its own is not good enough. Yeah, I think they're going to need that other card to be something good, or I don't think they'll be able to get it. So they're going to have to jam in with their pests and hope I like block both of them or something. I don't see how that could be a thing I would do. Okay, I think we're blocking the 8/8 with Tome Shredder. We don't have to block it as it is currently, but I feel like it's better to block it and just make sure nothing ridiculous is going to happen. Yeah, coming in with a pest. No, not coming in with a pest. Yeah, this has ended up being a kind of intricate game. All right, I'm going to pass to blockers. If they have a way... so is it worth playing around, like, charge through? I can Tome Shredder here, then even if they charge through, I only go to 2. Yeah, I think that's fine. If you charge through me, then I go to 2. That'll be fine. No reason to exile a spell. And I also could have grown, which would have further mitigated any instant speed trample damage. Cogwork Archivist. All right, I think that means we got it. We get to do this. We get to do this. Make that unblockable. I think that means we get them. All right, let's make it happen, Captain. What do you got? Whew. All right. That one was looking a little dicey for quite a while, but ended up making it work. Bookworm was just not what we wanted in that hand, so I think I'm ready to probably throw in the towel on Bookworm and try something different. This is just not really a ramp deck. I think the fight card would have been reasonable, though. I think I'm actually going to bring that back in. And what does that mean we do? Okay, so we're just taking Bookworm out, putting fight card back in. We have 2 forests and environmental sciences. That should probably do the trick, right? Yeah, I think it will. Okay. All right, feeling a little better about the deck. That was a pretty intense game. We had some stuff to worry about. I think we presented things they had to kill, they presented things we had to kill, and we were able to get it done. All right, once again, the power of the blue is missing. This one might not be excusable. We might have to just throw this one back. Have the Crackle, no real way to make it good. We really can't make either of those good, so I think this one's an unfortunate mulligan. Ooh, that one's maybe a mulligan too? I don't know. At this point, I think I have to try to keep it and just make it work. Okay, so Maelstrom Muse. Like, these are all pretty good cards, and they all require blue. So I think I'm keeping... Do I keep the lands, actually? Like, the third mountain isn't helping me a lot. Like, the first blue lets me pop quiz, and that probably gets me to land number 4. So is it a mountain? This is a keep I wouldn't make on 7, but I think on 6 you don't have a ton of a choice there. I think I have to do pop quiz because that can go find like introduction to prophecy and help me draw back into the game. I think unfortunately it's probably Rutha because she's just blocking. She's not winning me the game. She's not evasive. I don't know that I have the mana to use her yet. So, and maybe it's a mountain there. That's also entirely possible. All right. Well, okay. That's if I have to not draw an island, that's probably the best thing I could draw. Okay, we'll see if we draw an island here. Not quite. Well, sort of. Yeah, okay. That's appreciably close. I will definitely take that. Play ourselves an island, get in with Pledge Mage for 3. Have ourselves a little pledge drive. Alright, now we can play Muse, and so I think our hand has come together acceptably. Yeah. Okay, so we'll play our Muse. Cannot attack with Pledge Mage this turn. Don't know that we would necessarily do it anyway. They hit their 4th mana, so what are they going to do? Nothing yet. Well, now we have the fight spell enabled, so that's pretty cool. We can't both fight and pop quiz. That is a small thing. We're only really getting to do 1 card, I guess, in practice. So, do we pop quiz first? Yeah, pop quiz seems like the thing to do here. Oh, that was not good, because I could have, yeah, that was actually pretty bad. I could have made it cheaper, and I just didn't do that. Like I could have, yeah. Not the best. Are they burying that in books? Okay, they are going to do that. So what would have... I don't think that would have enabled much that was different, because I'm still having to pay blue for anything. So actually, I think that's fine. Didn't end up being enormously impactful one way or the other. We are limited by our blue production right now. That's obviously a concern. So we have to try to play blue symbols out of our hand at basically every opportunity, just to make sure our things work. But then summoning we also want to try to do, because that's just efficient. Okay, well, so they can double power and toughness. I'm not going to fall for that. Not just going to let my creature get eaten for free. Waterfall Aerialists, that's harder to target. Okay, that's a nice thing to get. That's a nice one to pick up. Okay, so that means I think we're going to just put down an Elemental, trigger Pledge Mage, do the most expensive thing we can do. And either one, blocking Pledge Mage is no big deal to me, so I'm going to attack. If they want to trade a Ward Flyer for my conditionally attacking 2-drop, that would be splendid. Okay, so biggest concern here is, do they have a way to shove Elemental out of the way? It looks like they don't, so that's pretty good for me. Alright, now I'm really liking the way our hand is stacking up. I think this is kind of where we're hoping to be at this point. Alright, so we redraw that. I think what I want to do... I don't really think I need to Decisive Denial any of those, so I think the best path is just go to combat, attack with the 4/4. If they let me, we will see if they let me. Okay, I'm definitely attacking with a 4/4 because we have the Arcane Subtraction, so if they go for block with Amplimancer and Pump, we're really going to blow them out. Looks like that's what they're doing, so they're not going to like how this goes. Yeah, we get to just Subtraction it and learn. I guess I may get another one of these. Might actually be better to just get a... Yeah, this is another spell. This is another one of these. Yeah, that probably seems fine. Alright, so it's a -4/4. Very powerful stuff. Okay. So now we're making it happen. Now we're getting advantage. We're doing our learning. I like cards that do this with a little bump of playability attached off of the fake cantrip. They're hitting 7, so this is about where you expect Quandrix to be, really making the boom booms happen. Big scurrid colonies. Alright, divide that by 0. So they get to get a land and learn, which is good. Definitely good. Sending in a 3/1. Okay, we got our Archmage Emeritus now. Can't really do it plus anything else, which might mean we have to do something different. We also can't fight Waterfall Aerialist while doing anything else, which is a little sad. So what do they got? They got a Fractal Summoning. Fractal Summoning is going to be big. So we can Muse and Decisive Denial in the same turn, which That's probably good. The only issue with it is we're not decisive denialing their aerialist. We have to just kind of let aerialist live. But I don't think that's the end of the world. I think we can tolerate that. Yeah, I think we're going to muse. I think I'm just going to denial to fight their... Oh, you know what? I could just hold that up. If I just hold this up, I get to counter their fractal summoning. That might be better, actually. Yeah, I don't hate that now that I've considered it. I think that is actually what I'm going to do. All right, I can come in with an elemental, I think, if they want to trade Professor. That works for me. Okay. Yeah, so I'm not doing the decisive denial only because I think there's a pretty good chance that we're going to be able to counter their summoning, because that's just the kind of card you want to do for the maximum possible amount. Like, if you're not doing X to the maximum, like, you can't really do that while holding up 3. That doesn't make sense. All right, well, now I think we are going to just counter that, because can't afford to hold that kind of spell up forever. You have to just sort of use it or lose it. Okay, well that's good. That means we're not getting drowned in tempo this turn, and that's really good, because now that means we can island. I think we can now play Archmage Emeritus, attack with Maelstrom Muse, and then draw our card and get a summoning. That seems great. Let's definitely do that. I'm a fan. I'm a fan of that play. It's not like the most excellent tempo positive play, because we're taking 3 back after inflicting 2. But I think the fact that we're drawing a card and using all our mana just makes it correct. All right, now, is this fractal summoning time? Just make a gigantic 9/9. I guess we'll see about that. Ether Helix. Ugh, that's not good. That deals with our 4/4. All right, I don't love that. Do not love that. All right, so ideally we hit a couple of spells in a row here, and we can chain something together with this Archmage. That is a good card, and we can do both of our things this turn, so it's probably still the way to be. Yeah, we're definitely just doing everything we can do this turn, I think. Do I come in with Muse? It's probably better to freeze the Professor. We can also just hold this, try to freeze their fractal summoning token. That's something that could actually get us. Yeah, the freeze might be more impactful on the fractal summoning token, actually, so... Now, so if we had like an instant or sorcery off the top with Nasari, we could really start going off with spells and mana, and in that spot, I'm going to wish I had played Frost Trickster at the first opportunity. We obviously can't do it on Aerialist because we don't have extra ward mana hanging around. I think I'm going to attack with Muse. Yeah, this is definitely a little aggressive, but I think I'm okay doing it this way. So I'm just going to Trickster their Professor, use all my mana, count on hitting something that counts between Nasari and like these Magecraft triggers. I think it's going to be fine. I'm definitely making this trade if they want to let me. All right, I like that. I like that. Just play a big fractal summoning and then let me go off. That is what I want. Big fractal summoning token, and then ideally no ways to give it trample. That's the other part of the equation. If they can give it trample, I'm going to be in trouble pretty much no matter what I do. All right, so they get a land. We get to do the Nasari thing. Oh, and we hit it. Oh, we get to go off. We get to do it. All right, so we can play the Needlethorn Drake. That's almost certainly happening. I think first we can curate. We get to do that. We get to draw our card, get more spells. Pigment Storm is awesome. Oh my gosh, now we're... Oh, no, hang on. Put any number into the graveyard and the rest back in any order. All right, we don't want that. We will put that into the graveyard, draw the other one. Yeah, that's what we're going to do. And now we can, like, almost kill them, can we? So we can kill Professor with Pigment Storm. We get to attack with Maelstrom Muse here. I think that's pretty easy. We don't want to tap like that. We want to do this, I think. Yeah. We want to use everything we can use here. Play this. Attack with you only. Make a thing cheaper. Kill Professor of Zoomancy, because that's the scariest thing they've got. It does less burn damage to them, but I don't think that matters. Alright, well that was an excellent turn. So now I think they just have to be able to give their creatures trample or they're going to be in trouble. They have a ton of mana. They have a ton of cards in hand. That's pretty scary. Okay. So that's going to be an issue if I can't win precisely this turn. Hopefully we can make something happen. Frost Trickster, it's so good! Oh my gosh! But I have to... I still have to keep anything from getting unblockable or that's going to be a big issue. So we can do... How much damage here? So we can Trickster. I think we need to do a practical research here and try to hit, like... I don't even know what we're trying to hit. We have them at 6. So if we Trickster, tap target creature and opponent controls, this can make things cheaper. But I feel like if we're not researching into something great, I don't really know how we can win. No, this is so tricky, the Serpent. Like, we need to get Serpent, like, buried in books, I think, is what we're hoping for. So I think that means the path is... Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is play Island, go to combat. I think we want to use our Maelstrom Muse here for the mana. Needlethorn Drake, we probably can't afford to attack with it anymore. I think Muse has to attack, and I think Drake can't attack. I think this is what we're trying to do. Is there any way we could kill them at, like, instant speed here with practical research? I guess we can go for it, just to make sure. Ooh. Knocked my pop filter down there really quick. Alright. So we draw with that, we draw with those. We discard 2 cards. Okay, I think that means we're kind of toast, actually. Because we don't have anything else we can draw. That just makes something unblockable completely. Yeah, we might be up a creek here. I don't know that we can necessarily make this happen. We can exile instants or sorcery cards from our graveyard. That doesn't really matter. Yeah, I mean, I guess we make that the thing. And now we just, like, bluff that we have bury in books. They can make multiple things unblockable, so I don't know that this is something they can realistically fall for. We were pretty close. The Wormhole Serpent was very good. Yeah. Okay, so Wormhole Serpent really got it done there. We can just scoop them up. All right, well played, well played. They had the... Like, that's officially a pretty solid ramping payoff. Like, they were able to play Serpent and use it in the same turn, which was really the difference. If they hadn't been able to use it right away, we could have just made... could have played their Flying Frostlinks off the top, frozen the 8/8, and then that would have been maybe a different game because they can't force enough damage through to kill us on that turn otherwise. So that was cool. A lot of interesting stuff happened in that one. We got to use our rare, kind of popped off with it. Not quite enough to win. This one is looking not awesome. We're missing green, and we're missing blue. So that's maybe mulligan worthy. Yeah, that's not really a functional hand. The hand needs more going on. Muse plus Crackle has me interested. I think we keep that, and I think we dump the bury in books, which isn't something you're going to hear me say much in this format, I don't think. But when your hand's powerful, your hand's powerful. Boy, being able to Crackle just cheaply with Maelstrom Muse seems pretty excellent. All right, so now we got somebody trying to do the aggressive thing. I guess we play this. And try not to die to quick +1 counters. Hopefully they can't do that. I mean, I'm sure they can because they're Silver Quill. But, okay, no 3-mana play. That's... No, they do have 3-mana play. They were just waiting. They were just playing correctly. Who does that? Prismari Apprentice. There we go. So, unfortunately, this Apprentice is probably just going to have to leap in front of a Leech Fanatic here, walk into whatever tricks are available. Guiding Voice, put a counter on, and learn. What is the learn going to go get? If they're going full aggro, it could just get Expanded Anatomy. No, they're getting Environmental Sciences. All right. So they get to get another land, get up to 4. What else they have? Absolutely making this block. I don't think I have the luxury of not doing that. Just feels pretty forced. They have some red in there also. Interesting. All right, Maelstrom Muse comes down. Hopefully lets us get some of these crazy spells rolling. Can't Crackle for big profit yet, but we could Pigment Storm off of Maelstrom Muse, which is something I would probably be willing to do off of that. Yeah, I mean, we just have to get Leech Fanatic dealt with here, or it's going to kill us almost single-handedly. Alright, so we're going to let that happen. Ooh, so now we can Sciences off the blue for a green and still Pigment Storm. I guess we can just Sciences and then Pigment, yeah. It works either way. Yeah, I will do it now. Get our green in our life. Do this, go to combat, make Pigment Storm cheap. Yeah, because we just kind of have to do this, I think, before we are summarily dealt with. So now we're getting very close to being able to Crackle. To Crackle with X equals 2 or greater is what I mean, which is where the card starts to get exciting and not be just kind of a bad deal 5. Alright, so they get to learn again. What are they going to be learning for? That's the question. If we get another blue, we can go Archmage, Maelstrom Muse attack, and then do a Quandrix command, which sounds pretty nice. Hunting, we will go for some specimens. What are they learning for? What is the card? They're just getting Introduction to Annihilation? I feel like that's not something you want to go for on the like as a default choice. That feels okay. No, they're doing Inkling Summoning, so that's probably one of the better things they could go get. That makes sense. I like going for that here. That's going to keep putting pressure on us. It's going to punish us for trying to get the mana cheapening off of Muse. Well, now we get to just kind of do everything, I guess. Get to play our island, play the Emeritus, not off of that mana, obviously, because I'm not silly. Play you. I think we're going to attack, bounce, and when we get the bonus, we're going to bounce the Inkling and put 2 counters here. Yeah. Yeah, do this, do this. Very, very nice. Now we just have all the threats. So now we have a big flyer that they want to deal with, and an Archmage Emeritus that they also kind of have to deal with, which is a good place to be. You can keep attacking with Dueling Coach. Might even attack with the Pest. I don't think I want to block the Pest either. Alright, well, maybe got punked by not blocking Pest. That might have been soft in what they were hoping for. Day of Judgment! No! No! That's very good for them. Okay, well, that's fine. We can recover. We have Pop Quiz. Gonna go get probably is it a Fractal Summoning at this point? Or is it just like card draw to try to hit Big Crackle with power? I think it might now be Introduction to Prophecy. I think we have enough happening that is officially the way to go. Like, getting up to the 8th mana is very impactful, the way our current hand is shaping up. Them having Day of Judgment was good. That was one of the things we didn't really want to see. Alright, let's Intro to Prophecy first here. With a green, is that right? What else do we have that's green? We've used both our green cards, I think. No, we still have the fight. So then I think that means we don't do it with green. Yeah. Okay, well, we want a Frost Trickster. We kind of want the land, too. So I think we just keep both. Do it like this. Play this. Can get in with Vortex Runner. And so they're more under pressure than they realize, because we're about to start chunking in for unblockable damage, and then we're about to also hit the 8th land, which turns Crackle into a kill plus deal you 10. So they're actually at a lower life total than they might think. We just want to, like, it would be also pretty nice to just nail 2 enormous creatures with this, but, you know, the likely case is we'll kill a medium-sized creature and deal them 10, which I'm, you know, somehow I'll find a way to sleep at night having only done that. Past Caller, that's a good one. Get to return Day of Judgment if they want? Jeez, that's pretty good. Huh. That is a little awkward. Oh, they're just going to do Inkling Summoning. Okay. Well, that works out much better for me. Alright, so now I'm going to just... I think I want to Trickster them here. It means I don't get to attack with Pledge Mage. If I Crackle them here, I get to take them to 15, kill Past Caller, and then take them immediately down to 9. Like, I could see a world where that's better, but I think Crackle is the more surprising card here, and I think I'd rather cook that one for the future. I mean, there's also a chance I hit 3 more lands, and then I'm just crackling for an unbelievable amount, 15. Alright, so they're going to play that Inkling Summoning, most likely. And they still have 4 cards. Could be anything. Could even be a boat. Vortex Runner is the kind of card you want in this spot. Like, the game is not really close to being over, I don't think. Unless they can kill my Frost Trickster in pretty summary fashion. Alright, well that's the kind of card that maybe makes us have to crackle creatures only. I don't know. It feels so bad to do that. It kind of feels like we're leaning at this point, though. Because I can't very cleanly deal with this, other than using Crackle. It sucks, but I think that might be where we are. Ugh, it feels so bad. Do I have to do that? If I'm crackling their face for 10, then they're at 12, and then they go to 7 off of this. We're just missing a lot of face damage by doing that. Okay, this might be incorrect. I'm going to do it. Could very easily be wrong. Let's get in there. We have the unblockable Vortex Runner. Hopefully they don't play a bomb now, because I will feel silly if they do. Shield Mage I think we can handle. I don't think that's going to kill us on its own. We can't really block it, but I don't know how effectively they can attack in when we have this unblockable thing. Oh, that's such a good draw. That is such a good draw. That was a really, really good draw. Alright, so we're going to put this into hand, this on bottom, and then this in exile, I guess, and we play it. Might as well. That was an obscenely good draw. Yeah, so now we just attack with both of these. They don't have very good blocks on either one. We get to play our sweet, sweet backside here and start stealing things off the top of their deck. Yeah, Expressive Iteration was not a bad draw at all there. It was quite good, in fact. Alright, let's see what they do. They deal with our flyer. That's fine, I think. They have Inkling Summoning and 2 Unknowns. They've been kind of interested. Like, I don't know that these red cards are all necessarily things I would be splashing, but the Past Caller might be. I don't know about Relic Sloth, though. That feels substantially weaker. Okay, they're just attacking with that. I don't think I'm at a point of wanting to chump their Owlin Shield Mage. It feels like not the way right now. Not the way forward. Alright. So if they summon and then play another creature, there's a chance we could pick something good off the top of one of both our decks and find a way to win. Vortex Runner is a lot of pressure here. That's something they very much, I think, have to worry about. Alright, are they going to, like, kill our... Are they going to do the Bone Splinters lesson, maybe? No? What do you got? We do have multiple things they have to care about. Okay, so killing that's pretty good. If we can find a way to remove this Inkling, we do just win, I think. Guiding Voice on the Inkling is good. So that means that if we find a way to remove the Inkling, Expanded Anatomy, that's kind of an issue. Right. So I can't attack with both because they can just take it all and then kill me pretty easily. I know it's my go. I'm figuring it out. Alright, I'll play the Campus. I'm probably going to scry on my upkeep. I'm going to get in with Vortex Runner. Takes them to 5. So they have to be pretty careful here. If they get 2 Cavalier and they didn't just draw something good, then they could very easily die. I guess what they can do is they can just put it on the Inkling, and oh no, they are attacking with both. Okay, because it does give it vigilance, so they know I have to block it. All right, so I think now that I have to find something pretty good off the top with Prismari Campus. So I'm going to do that on upkeep here. We'll see what that can do. Bury in Books. Is that good enough? View Battlefield. I think that is good enough. We will top that. Yep, that was an excellent draw. All right, we did it correctly. Made it happen. Whew. Got him. That was close. It was a very close one. So the upkeep scry was good because if we hadn't had Bury in Books on top, we would have had one more shot to find something like that. So it's pretty lucky, but we didn't build our deck to not get lucky. So there you go. All right, that one went well. Let's keep going. Definitely enjoying our little Prismari splash. A couple of green cards that we should probably be trying to do better than with the main deck Environmental Sciences. Environmental, I mean, that's not for a non-green deck to be able to have a colorless way to just gain a little life, find a land. It's not atrocious. Like it's acceptable, and having things that care about you casting instants and sorceries, I think goes at least a little bit further toward making it a not unplayable card. I think normally you do want to leave it in your pool or in your board as a lesson to go find, but I don't think this is... I think our deck is like reasonably able to do it this way and have it be fine. Okay, easy keep. Totally serviceable hand. We draw a pretty good one. I think it ended up being that the Crackle on the 2 threatening creatures was correct that game. Like, we just barely had what we needed to avoid losing. Okay. Well, that means I think I'm just going to play my own Vortex Runner to block theirs. If they end up... They could, like, play a trick. They could do the trample thing. No, they didn't, so that's fine. Do I attack with mine, is the question. I don't think I have to. I think I just play my Muse. If they counter it, they counter it. They did not counter it. Very nice. All right, they're going to pop Quiz end of turn. Go learn for whatever it is they need. Maybe just an elemental summoning. Yeah, that is what they're going to go get. So now they get to do the elemental thing if they have another land, and they do. So now we have a really good Bury in Books target, which I'm happy about. I think I'm going to go attack with Maelstrom Muse, pop Quiz, and then be able to hold up Bury in Books. It seems like the thing to do, because that'll take a creature off the table, make sure we're not getting the stuffing knocked out of us by a 4/4. Also have Trickster. This card has been pretty reasonable. Like getting to keep a giant potential trampler off your... Ooh, that's a good one. That is a good card. It's a very good card. Well, fortunately, we get to bounce our Vortex Runner. That doesn't hurt us too badly. It could be worse, certainly. Okay, so now... What does that mean? I think we definitely want to attack with Muse to facilitate some good spell casting. If we attack with Muse and then... If we attack with Muse, then we can go Runner back down and then Pledge Mage. That's not really using the mana very well, but it's probably still okay. I feel like getting the creatures down kind of has to happen first. Yeah. So we don't get to use our mana discount there, but I don't think that's the end of the world. If we get to Crackle soon, we might just Crackle a pair of elemental tokens, and that should put us in a place of being reasonably ahead. Or we can just do it to their dome. That's also a thing we can do. Alright, so double blocking this thing feels very dangerous. I think I'm going to present it just to see if we get like a highlight out of their hand. People are generally careful enough not to do that anymore these days, but... Alright. Ardent Dust Speaker. Okay, so now we do get to do the double kill thing with Crackle with Power. They have a thing to exile. I don't want them drawing infinite cards. So I think that is a thing I should do. This is a sorcery. So yeah, I'm just going to come in with Muse and I'm going to crackle their 2 threatening cards here. Yeah, I think this is fine here. You know, actually, what if we just go face with it? What if we do that? I think face is better than hitting the 4/4, now that I really think about it. Okay, so we take them to 6, and now they are very much under the gun in the air. They have to do something, I think, about Muse at this point. Yeah, so we lost a little value there by not dealing with their 4/4, but I'm okay with it, because we took them to 6. Like, that's really low. So what are they going to do? Do they have a way to deal with Muse, or just going to play a summoning and say go? I don't know if that's going to do it. All right, so now we can island. Yeah, if we island... Yeah, island. We can Trickster their Vortex Runner. And then we can... And we can't quite do everything. No. If we Trickster their Vortex Runner, pop quiz to attack. No, that's not actually good. Yeah, I think we Trickster their 4/4 here, and then we can pop quiz to make sure Pledge Mage gets to attack. Yeah, that actually seems like the way to go. We drew that. I think we have enough creatures. Well, yeah, what's wrong with another creature? Maybe we do want another creature. Yeah, I guess we'll take an elemental summoning. That seems fine. All right, so we could bury one of our own creatures in books, but I don't much like the idea of that. Okay, so we take them to 1. They have 2 lethal things they have to stop, and then Vortex Runner becomes lethal if we hit our 8th land. All right, we got that. Very nice. Ranking up. Making it happen. Getting her done. Everything is good. All right, we're going to keep going. Try to get all the way to 7. All right, so this deck's been fun. I've definitely been enjoying this. KG Nathan. Okay, I think this works. I think, I mean, almost every hand that can do, like, a creature into a Frost Trickster is going to be hard to turn down. I like the Arcane Subtraction a decent amount, too. Apprentice definitely makes it sweeter. That's going to really juice things up a little. Campus Guide. That's a pretty reasonable card. I don't, like, it's not great. It reminds me of the Silhana Wayfinder and, like, some other cards that are not super good. Oh, that actually maybe makes me want to play the Adept because it blocks better. This attacks better. Are we more aggro with this hand? Yeah, I think I'd rather present the counter aggro than to just play a 1/3 and be like, do what you will. A lot of people are trying to rock the Mardu. It's interesting. Yeah, I'm certainly not blocking, and they know it. So, no real thought there. Do they have removal? They have Go Blank. Okay, well, Quandrix Command feels like a pretty easy one. And I don't think I'm needing a Soothsayer Adept, so we can just ditch both of those and then exile our Yard. That works for me. Okay, let's go Vortex Runner. Hit him back. Yeah, it was not certain we would get to use Quandrix Command anyway, and then losing a 1/3 is hard to be too upset about. Okay. Okay. So we could be walking into a spot where we can kind of blow them out with Arcane Subtraction. Yeah, I'm definitely going to attack with both. I really don't think they're going to double block my Prismari Apprentice here. Like, they might double block Vortex Runner, but I don't know. Alright, I'm going to just Arcane Subtraction this, get my card. Get my Learn on. I think get an Elemental Summoning seems good here, because that'll trigger Prismari Apprentice, hopefully next turn. They hit their 4th land, and we'll see what that enables. Biblioplex Assistant, yeah, that's fine. I think we can beat that. They are going to get to Mind Rot us again, which It's not great, but it's also not that good because, yeah, because we're just going to be kind of beating them up in the meantime. So if we pop quiz here, what does that do? If we pop quiz, we can go get another elemental summoning, which doesn't seem that useful, but it also draws a card, which might mean we get to, yeah, it's not the worst. They would have to double block Vortex Runner to kill it. Okay, I've sold myself on the pop quiz. I think that makes sense here. Yeah, and we get to Pledge Mage too, so that ended up working out very nicely. Yeah, do summoning. Now we don't even really care about... Do we actually play Pledge Mage out of this hand? Because as it is, we get to summoning twice. Yeah, I'm thinking we just leave ourselves in a spot where we can do a summoning into a summoning by getting rid of Pledge Mage and Trickster. I know that, like, kind of the reason we did that was so that we could double spell, but I think doing one summoning and then one summoning is just... It feels like it's going to be better against what they're presenting. Like, they don't get to block this very effectively, and then they really, just period, won't be able to block that. So, yeah, I think the summonings, given that we have Prismari Apprentice, do enough more that it's worth just not playing our second spell that turn. I think that makes sense to me. Okay, so I think we do the first summoning, get a counter onto Apprentice. We're not really able to... We're not really taking advantage of the unblockable there, but we want to spend as much mana as you can. They know about the summonings, which is probably part of why they're not leaving blockers back. Killian's a good one. Killian's the kind of card that could get her done here. They could Killian plus like a trick. And then spells that target creatures cost them 2 less. So that means their removal gets a lot more effective, as do their tricks. Okay, now it's a 4/4. That's pretty good. They still don't really get to attack here. Okay, so we can summoning for another 4/4. Now we play this. We get to get in with both of these. Feels like they're going to have to block Killian on this 4/4. They don't have to, they can just do that. But now it's pretty dicey working Killian into any kind of combat situation because tapping him is guaranteeing yourself what seems like a good amount of damage. So we have to see where that takes them. If I double blocked here and then they removed like this and just killed Vortex Runner for free, that's a way I could lose this game, so I don't think I would want to block if they did that. Pillar Drop Rescuer, okay. Okay. Alright, we'll see if we hit a spell. We did not hit a spell. I think we can afford to attack with both here. They have to put Killian in front of something. If we attack with Vortex Runner, they could eat and chump, so that wouldn't be good. Yeah, so Killian has to block something if we just attack like this. So I think that's a reason to do that. Yeah, they just have to get in front of Prismari Apprentice here. Don't want to... Oh, they're going to do that, too. Okay, well, definitely Killian first. Seems pretty easy for me. Okay, now we can just do multiple things. Put ourselves in a better spot if we do draw an instant or sorcery. Campus Guide. They don't have to find a land, and it feels like in this spot they probably don't want to, yeah. Alright, instant or sorcery for maybe a win. Oh, well, that's just certainly a win, isn't it? Yeah, we get to kill Guide and kill them too, it looks like. They could have the hexproof thing. I hope they don't have that. Yeah, got him. The Pigment Storm, baby. It's raining men. It's raining paint. That's 4 wins, I think. All right, we're getting some good draws here. I think we're having better than average draws for what this deck can expect, but we also took some good rares and we're playing them. So, you know, draft good rares that go together is my recommendation, I think, and then draw them in the right sequence. Okay, this looks perfectly reasonable. So this is a spot where I do wish I had the environmental sciences in the board to go get with like Arcane Subtraction, because it's feeling like that would be a more readily available way to get the green for Decisive Denial than what's going to actually happen, which is just me frantically digging through my deck hoping to find a forest. All right, opponent deciding whether to keep or mulligan. This feels like a pretty reasonable keep. Star Pupil. All right, so more aggression happening. Feels like I'm just going to be curating on 2. If they follow that up with a 2-drop, that could be an issue. Okay, well, they don't have a 2-drop, which is lucky for me. Curate is an instant. Yeah, I think we're just curating and then passing it back. There is a world where I want to save curate to get more triggers on Archmage guy, but I think it's going to end up being more likely that it's good to just spend my mana here. All right, so they're not getting crazy aggressive. They're just doing stuff with 1/1s right now. Put stuff into graveyard. I could graveyard both of these. Yeah, I'm not really feeling either of those. I think we can do better. Yeah, Pigment Storm feels better. I now kind of wish I had a mountain, but what are you going to do? Okay, they get an Inkling Summoning. That's a good one. Gotta play a Vortex Runner here, I think. Yeah, all the very cheap, like, do something relevant and learn cards feel super, super solid. Big fan of a lot of them. Excuse me. So maybe Perfect World here, we get to go Archmage, it doesn't get dealt with, and then we can, like, Pigment Storm the Inkling, draw a card, have some good stuff happen. So if we block this, that puts the counter there. I mean, it's just 1 damage if we take it. Maybe that's fine. I don't know. I don't think they're going to want to use a trick this turn. So I feel like... I mean, Lash of Malice, that just makes it into a trade. I guess they can still Inkling Summoning, so that's fine. They used 2 cards to deal with our thing, but then they got a thing of their own. So I think that ends up favoring us in the long term. All right, getting a green there feels awesome. So now we get to Emeritus and start doing spell shenanigans and hopefully pulling ahead that way. Really hope they don't deal with Emeritus. We kind of want him to be able to do some things. Would be really nice if it lived, because then we just get multiple things. Combat Professor's fine. I think we can work with a Combat Professor. Can't really block either of those. Alright, so if we are holding up Arcane Subtraction and Decisive Denial, that should keep too many awful things from happening to us. I think we go no attacks, and I think we prepare to do like a subtract something, fight something, block, and then that'll be a lot of advantage that we gain. It should be pretty good. I think I'm in for that. Just gonna do it there. Hopefully we'll get to Pigment Storm that pretty soon. Okay, so if we shrink, we can shrink and see what happens first. Like, yeah, we can shrink the flyer. I guess shrinking well, then we don't get to fight the professor is the issue. But shrinking the professor means that we also have the negate mode of this up. So maybe that ends up being better. Okay, I'm actually going to shrink the combat professor after all. Because this way, if they try to, like, kill our Archmage, we can just defend it. Tongue Shredder's not a bad one. So now we get an Elemental Summoning, I think. Just more threats. Has to blockers. I don't think I'm blocking after having done that. Yeah, I don't think that's what we want to do. I do hope that they go for, like, a big non-creature spell. That was a big creature spell. That's not what we were looking for. That's okay. Alright. So if we now go... So now if we go Pledge Mage, we can go... Yeah, we can do Pledge Mage, fight the Combat Professor, which is going to go a long way toward stemming this bleeding. I think that's what we got to do this turn. Yeah, Pledge Mage, Decisive Denial, fight the Combat Professor seems pretty good. We get a little more advantage off of our Emeritus guy. Now we have another red, so we've got the Pigment Storm possibility. No attacking there. I think at this point I'm pretty down to trade for Spiteful Squad, let them put counters wherever they go. And then we have Pigment Storm they'll probably go on the Inkling, and then we can just deal with Inkling. getting a little like the damage that they're just accruing slowly is mattering. Like we're at 9, they have a flyer, all their things can attack at least reasonably well. Not the pest, I guess we could just block the pest. Yeah, maybe if they attacked everything, we would just eat the pest and kind of accept that for what it is. I think I've actually talked myself into doing that. I think I'm okay taking another hit. Spiteful Squad. Spiteful Squad isn't... We can kind of mitigate its usefulness by not, like, trading for it on purpose. Owlin Shield Mage is an issue. That is going to be a problem. We have Bury in Books. That's a 3/3. There's only so long we have to deal with that now. So if we play the Mountain, we can Pigment Storm their Inkling. So the issue is we don't get to 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So we can't bury and like have our cake and do everything here. We basically have to like pick how we're going to deal with Shield Mage. And Ward pay 3 life is very final. Like there's not a lot that can be done to get around that. The 3 life is that's a bummer. What could we draw? What can we draw to deal with that? It's Pigment Storm, Bury in Books is like there's no way to make this cheaper, I don't think, from what we have right now. If we bury, I guess we could if we elemental, no, we definitely, so we know we have to remove something. That is the key. Just gonna prematurely mute because I am thinking I think this is fair to think about. Pigment Storming just doesn't feel right. Do I have any ways to gain life in here? I don't know. All right. This might end up not being correct. I'm gonna Pigment Storm this Inkling, see what that accomplishes. Frost Trickster is the kind of card we were hoping to see. It's just a little late to the party. So at this point, the Emeritus is just going to have to trade, in which case the Owlin becomes a 5/5. But it's basically already lethal. So I guess no, okay. I'm not going to attack there. I don't think we have any ways to gain life, which means that targeting this is completely just not going to happen. So that's not ideal. That is not my favorite. I don't know what else we're really supposed to do, though. Alright, they have a 5/5 that I probably can never target or I will die. So that's not great. Yeah, Spiteful Squad doing work here. Okay, so we can Frost Trickster to freeze the squad, and then we at least have a chump. So that's something. We could bury our own Trickster in Books. That feels kind of crappy. Alright, let's Summoning, see what that gets. Because that's going to draw a card. We get our green roll in here. Gotta play Trickster, gotta freeze the squad, and that's a forced play. Alright, maybe we can race, who knows? Maybe there's some reality where this works out. Maybe they're just out of things, even though they haven't played a land since turn 5. Yeah, I didn't think so. Alright, so I think we need to draw another Frost Trickster? And just have another chump? Do we even have we played the other one already? We have not, so we could still draw that. More squads? Enough of your squads! So now we have to bury in Books proactively to try to hit the Frost Trickster, which doesn't feel so good. Yeah, because now we just have to have that, or we're going to lose. Yeah, so we will bury in Books this Spiteful Squad, because we just have to do it. Quandrix Command doesn't accomplish it, because we still can't target this thing. We don't have a way to gain life. Alright, I think that means we're dead. I guess we can, like, just show them how close we were. That was a blocker. We were very close there. Alright, well, Owlin Shield Mage really getting it done. They put the pressure on, and then they gave us a thing we couldn't answer without dying. So, okay, that was pretty good. I can appreciate that. I can appreciate the power of hexproof with caveats, because there it was basically hexproof. Put someone under enough pressure and they just can't really pay 3 life anymore. Alright, playing with max. Live life to the max, I always say. Okay, this hand looks good. We have sciences to probably go find another red, because that's what we're going to want for Uvilda and Pigment Storm. I keep saying Uvilda, but you know what I mean. It's the good side of it. The part that is the good one. Oh, we got a little crackle in our lives as well, which is all the more reason to go find the second red. We have a lot more blue in the deck than red, but a lot of our red cards are double, which is kind of awkward and maybe a reason to have built it a little differently. Okay, so I'm going to Sciences first because I'd love to be able to iteration into a land as the card it can play. You don't just want to jam this and then only get one card out of it. You really want both cards if you can help it at all. There's merit to doing the Uvilda thing, putting away Crackle with Power, actually. That's not crazy. If we can Crackle for 4 cheaper, like, that's kind of sweet. Maybe that's worth doing. I don't know. That's definitely getting a little speculative, but I'm kind of down for it. What if we put her out? Yeah, I'm going to do it. Let's put Uvilda out, put away Crackle with Power, and then we'll see how big we can do it. See how that goes. If they can kill her, they probably will, just because they'll be afraid of... If you can kill her, you certainly will. So it's 4 less, which means it would be easier to play this for 15. I don't think I can block that if we're trying to do the spicy things with her. If they gain life, I could make doing this awkward. Fuming Effigy. Gotcha. That's pretty good. So now we could go Iteration. Ideally hit a land that casts Pledge Mage. Put one into our hand. I think Vortex Runner is the best hand one, and then we can play land until end of turn. That into exile. Oh shoot, no. Oh, I messed that up. I forgot the, I didn't realize the order that presented them. Okay, well that was bad, because I just gave away a land and I have Crackle with Power in hand. So that's not great. That is not great. We don't want to attack with her. Okay. So that was a learning experience. The exile happens last. It does happen last. Okay, so we're gonna get to like Pigment Storm something. It seems fine. This has 3 hone counters. Yeah, I mean, I feel like we want to put away the Crackle with Power because we're certainly not wanting to play it before then. At least I don't think. All right, we will pass to blockers. I guess we put this here because it feels like the more threatening one. And maybe we could be putting the thing away and then just trading Uvilda off. I don't know. Let's do this. Let's put away Crackle with Power. They will know that it's coming then. I think that's fine. So we can Pigment Storm, or we can just Frost Trickster and put away the Pigment Storm. That's probably a little bit better. Yeah, we'll just try to fully go off here. How does that sound? That sounds good to me. Shredder. Yeah, so now I think I'm okay trading off Uvilda when we put away the Pigment Storm. Oh, I like that. Interesting. I think we're okay trading for Tome Shredder because it's likely to get bigger. And maybe we don't even want to put that away because it kind of restricts what we're able to do with our mana in the meantime. So it's when the last is removed. So we're going to actually end up... Are we going to end up short? We'll have 4, we'll have 8 total. So we are actually... We should have done it in the opposite order. That was not stellar by me. Because Crackle with Power is going to come off. We're not going to have the additional mana we need to do it for the full 15. So that's a little bad. Again, not the best play. Should have waited. But that is how it goes sometimes. You don't always play perfectly with the cards your first time with them. And like, the land we're down is going to be relevant, because now we have Vortex Runner too, so it's another thing worth noting. Twin Scroll Shaman doesn't look like it'll be able to attack through freely. If they have the trample trick with it, that would be bad. Okay, so they get to tap it, get in for some damage, they get to learn. If they have Expanded Anatomy, we could be in for a world of hurt here. It's going to just go to 6. But then we get to clear 2 creatures off the table, so that might be fine. Yeah, if they go Expanded Anatomy here, they are basically saying, I want to deal you a bunch of damage and then lose both my creatures. Which I think is a thing I'd be okay with. But then the other thing about the order I did it is they can just not play another creature, and then, yeah. They can just not play anything that would be vulnerable to Pigment Storm. So that would not be my favorite. Okay, well, they are playing a creature, so we know they're going to have something we can kill with Pigment Storm, which is good. Practical Research is going to stay on top. This can go in my graveyard. So that's definitely going on top. Alright, that gets exiled, that gets exiled. And now we can Crackle with Power for 4 less. So we are going to kill 2 things. That is a given. So we get to do it for... yeah, 2 things. Choose you, and can we afford to go face? I just don't know that we can. I think there's a lot of ways we can lose this game by doing that. Yeah. Yeah, let's do it like that. Okay, we will play our land out. We will not attack, I don't think. So we know we have Pigment Storm coming, so we don't want to trade for their only creature. We're okay, just taking a hit here. What's nice is that we're going to have Pigment Storm coming off and then still be able to Practical Research as an instant. So that's pretty good. They get another Spirit. That one matters, I think, less. We're going to Pigment Storm, kill one of these. 3/2s. Ooh, okay, so now it's a matter of... I think we just still want to hold up Research, even though that is a pretty sick trigger to get with the Apprentice. Yeah, you know what? That's actually probably a reason to just lead with Apprentice. We have to start beating them up. I think that could be fine. So Apprentice will grow and will often be unblockable. This will, like, be hard unblockable, though. Well, if they're going to do that, I think I just want to double block Guardian, right? Does that mean they have a trick? I hope not. Yeah, attacking, okay. So, like, this could get me if it turns out I was wrong. I hope I wasn't. Looking like they have some way to target something. Wonder what that means. They might have just assumed I was locked into blocking the 3/2. Do I die to Pigment Storm now? I don't know. I actually would die to Pigment Storm because they put 1 damage on Apprentice. Yeah, okay. That might have been bad. Okay, well that just takes me to 1. Oh, they can do 1 damage to end. Oh no, that means they get me. Ugh. Well, I mean, I don't know that I was really playing around that. I don't know. All right, good game. They did get me there. That was fair and square. Good learn kill. And attacking was definitely smart for them to do in that spot. All right, so I think we had a reasonable draft there. We did some things that were okay with the cards. We made some good plays. We made plenty of mistakes to hopefully inform your future Strixhaven drafts. I really enjoyed the Prismari stuff. That was cool. We had a lot of rares that worked together. I'm sure it could have been drafted even more synergistically, and I'll try to do that in the future. All right, so thank you so much for watching. That's been Jamie Ellis with my very first Strixhaven School of Mages draft on MTG Arena. And I really appreciate you guys watching. So thank you very much, and hopefully I get to do some more of these. See ya.